Alright, today we'll be discussing an incident that occurred in September 2025 at an art fair in Atlanta's DragonCon, where a case emerged that eventually required police intervention. It all began at booth A10 in the artists area, where we found artwork that many attendees started viewing with suspicion. Several people noted that these images appeared to be AI generated, and the booth displayed the name Oriana Jerez Art. The situation escalated when some visitors reported their concerns to organizers, who then approached the booth and asked the attendants to show evidence of their creative process. The response was shocking. They presented a video that was also AI generated, yet still insisted everything had been created by hand. Additionally, it was discovered that the person manning the booth wasn't even the listed artist, but had registered using their partner's name. When organizers pointed out that regulations prohibited selling AI-generated artwork and asked them to leave, the man refused to go. Social media erupted after an artist posted about the incident, and the response from the booth's account was deliberately provocative. They claimed they didn't need to disclose their sales and called their critics losers. In other posts, they launched more attacks, saying their accusers weren't selling anything and were destined for failure. This sparked widespread outrage, and the situation escalated further as videos of police arriving at the booth began circulating online. Finally, authorities forced the responsible party to gather his belongings and exit the venue, as he continued refusing to leave voluntarily. Once the space was empty, some attendees began placing messages on the table, turning the vacant spot into a small improvised memorial, indicating that the booth had been removed for selling AI-generated images. The artist with the neighboring stand described how everything unfolded from the beginning. During setup, he noticed the A10 group consisted of 4 people, 2 adults and 2 younger individuals. Initially, they displayed pieces that appeared handmade, with visible brushstrokes featuring popular characters and graffiti-style phrasing. They weren't to his taste, but they seemed to be created by an actual person. And yet, the next day he saw new works, anime characters, comic figures, even icons like the Monopoly millionaire or Snoopy, all with blurry or inconsistent features, such as varying numbers of fingers or distorted details. To him, it was obvious these were generated by artificial intelligence. He noticed that very different styles seemed to coexist, so he asked how many artists were represented there. The older woman replied just her 2 sons, which didn't add up to him at all. Seeing the fair had rules against selling AI-generated images, he alerted the organizers, and he wasn't the only one who did. Multiple complaints arrived simultaneously, and on Saturday he noticed the fair staff examining the booth's materials, making him think they were taking it seriously. On Monday, when he arrived at the fair, he saw area officials, staff members, and even an agent near the booth. The stand occupants arrived late and found the group waiting to inform them they had to leave the premises. They were blocked from entering and told they had been removed, so they began dismantling their booth with obvious anger. After they left, someone posted a sign announcing the space had been expelled for selling AI-generated material. The message became a popular spot for visitors to take photos and leave small notes. As news spread, several fairs and similar events updated their policies, with comic, animation and pop culture conventions announcing stricter bans on using AI to produce items for sale. They argued that the way these tools are trained raises ethical issues, and their intent is to protect the work and effort of human creators. Various organizations explained they don't allow AI-generated works in their spaces, not even in other areas of their events. Some officials stated they'd support artists who work without these tools, while others clarified that any AI-traced or produced material is prohibited. In creative sectors like illustration, video games, and comic animation, this situation has been causing tension for many artists for some time now. So I wanted to know what your opinion is. Ultimately, what happened at that fair has reignited a growing debate. How to distinguish between human and machine-made work, how to prevent public deception, how to protect copyright, and how these practices should coexist in creative spaces. All signs point to this being a long, complex issue filled with new discussions.